Hi, guys. Hi, good morning, afternoon, or night for everyone. We are happy to be hosting this open call again. And we have one more new face here. I would like all you guys, I would like to introduce Duda. I know some of you guys already know him from the community, but we are very happy to be him as a team member now, as our community manager. And as the other calls, we have Gabriel, we have Rodrigo, Chris, Skelly, and Singly for us to talk about our product, what you're doing, and to, of course, listen to all of you guys. So I will pass the word to Gabriel for the beginning, and to Chris, that's gonna give us the updates of the product, the last update from our product.
Awesome. Thank you, Poliana. So, first, nice meeting everybody. Welcome to our open community call. And just a heads up, and sorry for maybe there was a little bit of a problem with the scheduling, because we scheduled this in a time zone, and then I think there was like daylight savings got into account, and then shift the date of the event for some people, the timing of the event for some people, and not for others. And then, so I'm not sure if some people still had the old link or the old time in the calendar. Nevertheless, we will have this published, all the recording published, so people can watch later on. So hopefully there will be no harm because of that. And we'll try to understand it better how the system, Livestorm, does it in the future. So we are more certain on how to schedule it. So sorry for that. We're learning, but hopefully no big deal. And yeah, so I don't know. We have an agenda today, a few things that we want to talk about. I'm not sure, Duda, if you want to say a few words yourself, like just so people get to know you, like a short introduction.
Yeah, thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to participate on this journey, this mission. And probably some of you already know me from issues, from GitHub issues, from forums. And feel free to ping me on those networks, to send me a message. And I'm already here. And thank you for joining us today.
Perfect. So who wants to be? We're going to be in charge of our agenda today. Chris or Poliana?
Yeah, I can go. I can go ahead. Before I do that, I will ask everyone that wants to do any question to go to the questions tab, that we can answer it accordingly. And I would like to pass the word to Chris for giving the new updates of the product, what we've been working, what we are working next. It's with you, Chris.
Okay, sounds good. So first off, as Gabriel was saying, we had a time shift with daylight savings ending. So I know that the group is lighter today. As a result, two things. I'll take a little bit longer with some more product updates for those who are watching on a recording afterwards, since we'll be lighter on questions. And then second, I'm going to add this to my long list of reasons why we should get rid of daylight savings time. All right, so to jump into things, 4 product updates I'd like to take people through. And the first one is our work on Apps Engine. So this is an area that we're really excited about, and I think has a very positive impact for our community. So as people know, over time, the overall scope and scale of the Rocket.Chat code base has grown. And for community contributors, at times that can be an enabler, but also sometimes a blocker in terms of finding ways to contribute. So what we've been working on with Apps Engine is turning our Apps Engine toolkit into a full developer toolkit for creating marketplace apps. And that's not an event, it's a progression, but we have a lot of things that are happening in fourth quarter relating to that. And to highlight a few, the first thing is our UI components manager. So we're significantly expanding our ability to manage UI components, add action buttons in different places. A key, very specific thing that adds a lot of possibilities when you're creating marketplace apps or Rocket.Chat apps for your own use is the ability now to use the contextual sidebar. So previously, if you're creating an app, you could call a modal and have users interact with that modal. You can now also call that contextual sidebar, which is the slide out bar on the right-hand side of the screen, to give a little bit more flexibility in terms of how your apps interact with the users. In addition, I mentioned action buttons and other components. We're expanding the ability to use and apply different action buttons within the sidebar, the message box, or room header, which is, again, gives a lot more flexibility. So we're really excited about this. A few other things are also coming in relation to Apps Engine. We are also adding support for static assets. We're beginning to dive into OAuth capabilities so that apps that you build that interact with third-party SaaS offerings or your own systems, you'll be able to leverage OAuth capabilities. That's now getting started. Timing on that piece, we're not 100% sure on, but the expansion of UI Component Manager and support for static assets is coming in fourth quarter. So we're excited about this. Closing note on Apps Engine, we have had some people reach out about a apps workshop, and we'll be coordinating with the team to find time, likely in January, February, to begin having some of those app development workshops. Okay. All right, a couple other things. WhatsApp. So we are relaunching our WhatsApp marketplace app in partnership with 360 Dialogue. This is happening later in November. So we're, I think, a mere 12 days away now from our launch. What we'll now be able to support is community or enterprise users will be able to activate the WhatsApp marketplace app, configure it within Rocket.Chat, do a quick round trip out to link or create an account with 360 Dialogue, and you're up and running. It'll be as simple as that. So we're really excited about this launch. Definitely keep an eye on forum and blog post announcements over the coming days. We'll have a lot more information. Again, the key thing here is that we're making sure to make it as easy as possible for workspace owners to extend their communication to customers, other outside parties using WhatsApp. Okay. All right.
That's great news.
Yeah, we're really excited about this one. This one's going to be a lot of fun as we ramp it up and work with community workspaces, enterprise workspaces as well. Okay. All right. Two other items to highlight. Voice over IP. It's here. It's arriving rapidly. So I was telling Gabriel that the other day we had what I'll call our Alexander Graham Bell moment. We were calling from our cell phones and connecting in via voice over IP to Rocket.Chat and having conversations with our engineer who's been doing an amazing job building out that capability. As a little bit of background, what we're doing is we're implementing a voice over IP path that works with a SIP trunk and an Asterisk server for anyone who's familiar with different PBX systems. We now have our core MVP for call handling working. We're working on the front end components. Within this quarter, we expect to have that MVP working and in place. Key thing to note, we don't have a launch date on this. And we're also going to be giving some thought to exactly how we do launch this. What's it going to look like for enterprise users? What's it going to look like for community users? And we'll be digging into that during the remainder of the quarter to get clarity. One thing to highlight is I think that this is something that would be very valuable to community users, but you may not have a SIP trunk running. You may not have an Asterisk server running. So we're beginning the conversations. I'd raised the question with Rodrigo, and we'll dig into it further, of whether we potentially may offer an Asterisk SIP gateway for organizations that don't currently have their own infrastructure on that side. Okay, so we're super excited about it. Now that we've had that Alexander Graham Bell moment, now we need to move forward, get this thing.
Yeah, we should get a demo or recording of it, so you can publish, so people can understand and have the a real understanding on how impactful that can be for customer service, all like the omni-channel part of the business. So a demo would really put some color into what you're trying to show here.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll talk to the team and maybe we can get something posted out to the forum. Okay.
Oh, here already have one around that. PBX Rocket.Chat years ago, 2008. Asterisk is something we have built internally in our out chat with a forethought on configuring an IVR from inside Rocket.Chat. Press 1 for sales. The recording the message right inside Rocket. That could be the part of the omni-channel. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's kind of like what the whole thing that we are working on. The automation part, we're going to be bringing other components to be able to do this, the IVR. But it would be awesome, like William, if you could like maybe share some cards, show what we've done, what you can show what you guys have done, see if there's any room for improvement, right? So and exchange some code.
Yeah, definitely. That's great, and it's a good, it's a reminder. And one thing to highlight, just like William's done. There are a lot of workspace owners out there who have developed their own VoIP solutions, and it's really cool to see all of the innovation. There will definitely be plenty of times where we're following along behind innovations that the community has created. So very cool to see. William, I'd love to talk more about what we're doing and compare notes, and looking forward to that discussion.
And thanks, William. I'm going to share the link that you sent with Amol and the team working on this. And maybe we should schedule a demo call from both sides to talk and see how we can collaborate.
Yeah, that's great. We'd love to. Okay. All right. And then last thing I wanted to mention, I was referring before to the kind of scope and scale of the Rocket.Chat code base. And, as we as an organization have grown, as the community has grown, we do have constant kind of maintenance, quality, technical debt to clear. So in fourth quarter, we did make the decision to establish a couple of key quality tracks. And so there are really three. Two I can speak to, and Rodrigo, you might want to add some color to the third. So the first one is the admin user experience. As people know, we've always really emphasized developer flexibility and the ability to configure Rocket.Chat however you want. One of the downsides of that is there is a lot of stuff in our admin panels. If you're a newer workspace owner, a newer admin, it can be very confusing. So we're going through a track to improve the quality of the user experience for admins. That should help existing community members, but also as we look to continue to grow the community, we don't want someone to have to get a PhD in admin panel navigation in order to understand how to use the system. So we're focusing on that overall user experience to make the system more understandable and accessible. And then second, and similarly, we're also addressing a number of user experience issues on the end user side, which is a separate track. For each of those tracks, all of the things that we address will be in the release notes for upcoming releases. So with our release notes and our associated blog posts, we'll make sure to highlight those. Okay. And the third item, which is probably a good kind of handover to Rodrigo, Our core chat engine as well. There are always infrastructure improvements to be made, technical debt to be dealt with. And Rodrigo, maybe it would be good if you update everyone on the big chat engine push on the models that you guys have been working on and other items as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you. You probably noticed on the GitHub, we are refactoring a lot of Rocket.Chat code, even from the UI, and moving everything to React and improving our component set using Fuselage. And we are doing the same on the backend. So converting, or at least all the new code is always TypeScript from now. And we are converting all the existing code to be TypeScript. And one of the main challenges in that is to how we convert and change our bases, our models, and everything else that everyone in the company and every contributor uses to TypeScript. So every new code is relying on the lower layer already typed. So we have all the data typed, we have all the models already typed, and all of them using async, because you may know that using Meteor, they use fibers that kind of convert async calls. That's normal how you handle I/O on Node.js. It converts to synchronous functions. So what we're doing now is to merge, and we are probably merging this week the first PR with half of the models already converted to TypeScript and converted to promises, in a way that we can improve the whole new code to use this async and typed models. Our objective is to try to migrate all the rest of the models still this month. So we have all the base ready for not only contributors, but for the internal company to have a better product already typed, and you can refactor the rest of the code easier once we have everything typed using TypeScript. So that's one of the points we are trying to improve here, that will allow us to deliver better quality, to help us to track better and trace calls. So we can trace from API call up to the database calls. One blocker for that is the fibers that Meteor used to make those calls synchronous. And we are, while converting to TypeScript, we are converting to promises that will help us to make this tracing and improving the tools and monitoring we have for the product will help us to deliver a better product, of course. So that's one thing we are focusing now. And the next step will be to convert the rest of the code to TypeScript. Everything typed will help us to make the changes we want to do in the architecture of the product without any high risk of breaking things. That's what we are focusing on.
Yeah, perfect. Great stuff.
I think that it's important so people understand the impact when we finish those refactoring, right? It's a lot of those things will have a really great impact on the quality of the product, on the way we'll be able to measure performance, on the way those building blocks are going to be much more stable and trustworthy for the people implementing the features on top of it. So it's not a small task. I think it was like hundreds and hundreds of files, if not like thousands of files that needed to be changed. Trying to put aside the right time to be able to do this, to leave the team to do it, and it generates a lot of conflicts with all PRs. So it's a massive amount of work and needs a lot of attention, and especially because a lot of those changes are in old parts of the code that they don't have as much testing or unit testing and things that it should be for us to make sure that we were working right. But we will get there, and I think people will see feel the impact on the system as a whole. So I'm very, very happy that we are finally getting there.
Yeah, of course. And having everything typed, it helps the contributions. It's already creating the certain documentation on top of what and how we can use those features when creating or contributing to the code. So this is important. On top of that, we are creating some solutions to improve startup performance while we just load what is needed until the settings enabled. So doing lazy loading for some part of the product and things like that, while we are refactoring those parts to TypeScript. So yeah, that will provide us a lot of gain in quality and performance as well.
That's really nice. Talking about contribution, let's move to a topic that we were discussing before, and I think all you guys can give a little talk about this. Is if not contributing as with the code, how as a community can we can we be more active? How can we continue contributing without like coding? Duda, Rodrigo, if you want to take this, you guys that has a long history on contributing on codes, on companies, on open source, how it's other ways that we can contribute and be active without like really building the code.
We have even some of this information on our documentation, right? To tell people how the ways to contribute it. If you think about the things that make a project, it's not just the code, right? There is all the way from helping reporting bugs or testing bug issues that are on our issue tracking on GitHub, helping with translations, helping with testing. We have a user group now to help us test new features and give insights on how to before we even ship the features. So you're looking for people who are willing to test beta versions and try to use it one or the other and do like help us figure out what is it's more intuitive. There's like so many different ways, even like fixing documentation, helping us to write documentation. There's even helping us with we are starting to think about like on the marketing team and a plan for getting people to help with content for our blogs, like sharing stories about how they use Rocket.Chat, how they what they're able to achieve. Sometimes we even invite people to join our internal meetings to tell their stories. There's a lot of ways you can contribute. If you go to someone can put the link here, but I think docs.rocket.chat /contributing, or I'll find the link first, but I'll let the others also share some of the ideas as well. But there's so many more ways to contribute than just code.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I just want to jump in on two things. One is translation. We can definitely do help in translation, and we are putting the mechanism together to better address this sort of translation. Do it again. Talk a little bit about it. Secondly, is we are really going to start to administer a beta testing program. So I'm going to paste a channel link right there. If anybody who's interested in participating in this beta testing program, please just go to that channel and say you're interested, and we'll figure out a way to coordinate everything across the different projects that we have. So that's the follow-up on what Gabriel just said. And I would also suggest that if you're watching the video and you just found out that we now have voice channel, voice over IP feature being worked on, that you have experience, please come on to the next community open call and give us the input on the direction you want to see this going into. That would be really helpful to us. Thanks.
Yes, also one thing that is very important is the filter request repository. We do have one at the GitHub, so any idea you have, even though you doesn't know how to code or you can't translate or something, the filter request is a very special place that's the place that we can dream together with the community, together with Rocket.Chat company, and some ideas, the best ideas that we have, it's probably coming from community too. So that's one place also that we can leverage to communicate, to contribute.
Yeah, and one other idea is adding to documentation is always a great way to provide a leveraged contribution. And as I think I'd mentioned on the last call, we've been adding to the documentation team, and they have, I think, a key milestone this month of updating documentation for all of our API endpoints, which is great. But as the platform continues to evolve, if you're ever finding something in documentation to be unclear or incorrect, given the evolution of the system, those informing us of those and contributing documentation updates is a great way to contribute.
And I can add one point. We have a repository for our RFCs, our documents. When you're proposing some structural change, we create a document explaining how that would be, so we can discuss internally. And it's open for the community. If you have some knowledge on specific area that is involved on that specific document, or I believe we were calling it different. It was RFC in the past, but yeah. Anyways, we can contribute a knowledge on how we are planning the design of those architectural changes. So it doesn't need to be exactly on the code, but on helping us to understand how to do better those things. I will figure out the URL here and share.
Duda, do you have some comment about, like, if somebody want to do translation, things that you kind of discovered recently, maybe that would help?
Yes, recently we had Andrej. He complained that the server was translated for his language, however the mobile app was not. So I asked if he was willing to do the translations. So now we do have. So right now the translations, you need to be invited to do the translations, but we're planning to move something that you can do the translations itself. So whenever you are using Rocket.Chat mobile or server or the browser or desktop, and you see some translation that you need on your language that you maybe want to change that, you think that that there's a better way to say that, to write that. The idea is that you'll be able to suggest this translation, and the idea is to have some reviewers that we can then improve these translations. So the idea is that to make it easier, even more easier to the community to be able to help and change the translations to a better and better strings, or if there is another language that we does not have translations right now, you can also be the reviewer for that language, or also help us to translate for that language and have a broader audience for that. Okay.
It's amazing. Yeah, excited to see all different languages. How many languages we are right now, guys? Do you have this by head? Sing?
I don't, but the Duda has dashboard number.
Yeah, I know there's a lot, but I forgot by head how many of them.
That's a summary.
I'll try to check it here. Let me see. Oh, that's a lot. It's 64 in progress, at least for the Rocket.Chat. For Electron, we do have 64 for the server, and those are in progress. And we have a lot of untranslated and sometimes in under review. So there's a lot of work to do that. And that's a very great place that if you does not have a lot of experience coding, that's one of the best places to help, to contribute without having the high knowledge development. So that's a very interesting thing that we can push over and try to get help from our community.
That's good. guys that are participating, listening, if you have any other questions, suggestion, anything you'd like to share with us. I want to go ahead and say that our last open call of this year is going to be on December 15th. We are going to be celebrating all the wins of this year, everything that we were able to accomplish. We are going to give in a nutshell what we are planning for next year. And of course, we want to listen from all you guys what you expect. I think we have a lot to win and to conquer next year. Sorry.
Yes, most definitely. Like after doing again, we're doing the investment that we needed on the core, on the platform, to be able to speed up the development, bringing up the apps engine also to a new level for people to be easier for people to customize. So we want to make the code base simpler, more easy to contribute using TypeScript. So it's also there's a lot. I know that there's a lot of things that developers love about TypeScript. I think we can do even an article or a blog post about it, explaining type completion, when you all the benefits of using a type scripting when working with Rocket.Chat, and how it helps make less mistakes and less bugs. So I think there are going to be a lot of things that we're proud of that we'll be able to achieve on the platform. Hopefully, there's some things still on the making that we will be able to finish in time. Hopefully, so we can celebrate. But we believe the platform is getting to a whole new level all around, both in features and stability, code quality, everything. So we're really proud of where the product is going.
That's a great segue for a plug on a new blog that was just out by Doug, a lead for the apps engine, talking about basically if you're developer-centric or you're dev, talking about JavaScript virtual machines and how we have applied it within our apps engine. It may be an interesting read to you, and maybe you can refer it to a colleague that's actually in dev. That's just out right now, thanks to Yash in our developer relations team on putting it together. And now it's going to be the first of a series of similar blogs that will be coming out over time.
Awesome.
So I feel that we are moving towards the end. If anyone has any more question or comment to say, we have another one here. William just asked, I know this is a hard question, but as a community member, I'm curious how the 4.0.0 rollout has affected communities with the LDAP EE changes. I haven't upgraded from the 3.18 yet.
Is it more like in the matter of like numbers or who wants to take that one? Because I don't think. Let's see if you elaborate on the question.
Yeah, and while you're taking a look and reading through that, an important note: upgrades are always a little bit slower at a major version, and we're seeing the same thing. Singh and Duda and the team continue to address questions as they come up, and what we're seeing so far is members of the community are doing their proper testing, their review as they upgrade. We are getting some points of feedback, but we haven't, at least from my perspective, Rodrigo, let me know if you disagree, but we haven't seen anything unusual in terms of the timing and progression compared to other major releases. I think that's a fair statement, Rodrigo, Gabriel.
Yes, it is. It is, and also there was some things that we changed on the code. I think we had to release a few patches, but we're very happy with some of the improvements that we were done on performance, on the rewriting, on the parts that on whole authentication on an LDAP, and made a lot of difference. There were a few bugs, and also there was even some more feedback that we got from the community about enabling like the button for the synchronization and other issues that were solved. So maybe now we are in what 4 dots. Somebody remind me what is the release?
1.2, I believe. 4.1.2.
Yes.
And so might be a good time to migrate.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that we did have some earlier communications problem in terms of conveying what the change set is, and also the population of our community that will actually be affected. But I think those things did work it out through time with a lot of communication between us and the community, and that we are basically pretty much down to like 1 or 2 things that we're working together like to resolve on now. And even from the get-go, I think the population or the set of people that are actually affected by these changes that you mentioned, William, is actually not a substantial number in the community.
Yes, thanks.
And thanks, Sing, and thank you, William, again for your participation. I will also take this opportunity to remember all you guys that you have a new webinar coming up next week. That's going to be in the dark. How to prepare your customer services for the next Facebook or WhatsApp or any other app outage. So I will leave here in the comments the link right there. So again, I would like to thank all you guys for participating and to being, we're open here to listen to all you guys. Let's go to the, will the speakers be in the dark? No, the speakers are going to be open, clear, and transparent as we always are. So thank you very much again. I leave the last comments to you guys, and let's go moving towards the end. We are respecting the time frame that we established to this call.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks, Pollyanna, and looking forward to the next one.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
And,
bye-bye.
See you in the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.